Lunasoul's Convoy, and today I'm looking at Iron Factory's EX-73 Tobiki, which is their version of a slightly samurai stylized Legends class Red Alert. I'm gonna take a look at the box for a few seconds. It's like the usual samurai stuff. There's like a hole in it for some reason to see the figure. I don't know why. Some pics of the toy, really boring. So that's the box. Let's take a look at the figure itself real quick. So this is a retool of their Sideswipe, which I know didn't have like the best reception, but I think this guy handles the mold a lot better. Starting off, you've got that nicely done white paint on the head sculpt. Looks pretty good. Face is in silver. Eyes are picked out in blue, and yeah, I think there might be, I don't know if there's an outline, but it feels like there's an outline around them. Your red paint there, red paint, blue paint, silver paint. You have these nice samurai-esque details right here. The ties, which are really the only details I can see that are explicitly samurai. He's pretty clean from the back. He just has these two panels, so the portfolio or the profile is nice. You can like mess with these however you want. Compared to Sideswipe, since the front of the car is here, he's got a lot more flexibility in how he looks. But overall, proportionally, I think he looks pretty good. There's a lot of really nice sculpting going on with like the shoulders and the arms and the thighs. And the lower legs look great. And smart use of that spoiler to fill in a gap here. So that's pretty awesome. And the skirt and stuff looks nice. It doesn't really get in the way when you're posing it. So yeah, speaking of which, let's probably take a look at articulation. Let me just put his staff to the side. So articulation wise, you have a ball joint here at the head. Get you really nice range down, right? Pretty good range up. And of course you get the side to side. So that's nice. Shoulders, there's like a transformation, excuse me. There's a transformation hinge. They can go down, they can rock to the side. They go out like 85 degrees. This is on a hinge and a ball joint, so you can really get a lot with it. You have a universal, obviously, bicep swivel. You have a double jointed elbow that goes the full run, and the wrists are both on swivels, and they can hinge inwards due to the ball joint, which is great for expressiveness. You also have a waist swivel that goes to about there, but it can go all the way if you mess with the skirts and stuff. It needs to for transformation, so it does. It's pretty easy. The skirts are hinged here, so they can go forward, they can go backward, and then they're ball jointed, so you have a lot of motion on the skirts. There's a ball joint here in the abdomen. Fuck, the ab crunch is right there. You can kind of see it. There's a ball joint in the abdomen. It also gets you a little bit of side to side. It's hard to see, but it's there. So it gets you like a little tiny bit, not much. The main ab crunch is actually going to come down here with a waist joint that kicks out like that. So if you combine it with the upper kick, you can get up to there. So that's really nice. So yeah, that's your kick, right? If the ab crunch, by the way, which the ab crunch tabs in back here, it's like a click. Let me see if I can click it into place. The ab crunch click is one thing I don't love on this toy, simply because it requires a like considerable amount of force to get it tabbed in again. There you go. So once you have to have it tabbed in for the transformation. If you have the ab crunch tapped in, god damn it, there we go. It doesn't really stay tabbed in actually. If you have the ab crunch tabbed in, you don't really get that much kick up actually. You get like that much kick up, so there's that. You have a thigh swivel that's pretty tight, which is nice. And it obviously can get you the full run. You also, if you pull these out of the way, you can kick out to 90, and I think you can kick back, yeah, to 90. So just something to keep in mind, you know, that the forward blocking isn't really a thing, but just disengage the ab crunch and you're good to go. It's just like that tab is a bit bit, you know, it's a bit solid, but it's not exactly like it's gonna shear or anything. It's just solid. Bring this up here. And if you start kicking, it untabs by itself, which is awesome. So that's nice. There's 2 joints here for the knee. So what I like about this is that you can kind of rock the knee forward, so you can kind of S stance it. If you combine it with these, you know, knee pads, you can really get a nice S stance with like the knee being in front of the shin, which is great. I love that. But you have 2 joints here. You can get to 90 just fine, and then you can push it a bit more to like, I guess 115, and then you can use this to cover up the gap, which is, I think, really good engineering. That's pretty good. I really appreciate that, trying to remain seamless at this size, even if, you know, your drop down hips are kind of obscene. But, you know, it does work pretty well. Moving down to the feet, I need to stop doing the bobbly thing. There's a hinge joint in here, which is mainly for transformation, but it allows you to rock the foot up and rock the foot back. You have, this is ball jointed, but it's not exactly much of it. Like, there's a little bit of tiltage. The majority of your ankle tilt is going to come from that hinge, which gets you a very nice rocker, and he poses just fine with it because, you know, his big feet. So you don't really need the entire base of the foot to move. Just the toe is fine. But yeah, I mean, so yeah, I have no problems with the articulation. I do wish that maybe, like, you know, they worked in another hinge here so that he could go like up further, maybe to like 120 degrees up on the shoulders. But for most part, I'm pretty fine with it. Accessories, he comes with 3 pairs of hands. He's already wearing 2 of them. He's got the open hand, which is sculpted really well. I love how Iron Factory sculpts the open hands. They do look pretty good. He has the gun holding hand, right? And these are using square. They use like square pegs that look like these. So I don't really know what the millimeter equivalent would be. They go like that. Everything tabs in just fine. The other pair of hands that he doesn't have equipped right now, he comes with a pair of closed fists. That's the right hand. Yeah, he comes with a pair of closed fists, and, you know, those just pop on the ball joint right there, really solid and easy. Both the closed fist hands and the weapon holding fist hands can transform with these attached, but I don't know about the open hands. I think they might be able to as well because of the way the alt mode is assigned. In terms of accessories, like weapons, he has 2 copies of these, I guess they're blasters in this form, right? These handheld blasters if you're in first person, right? And then they turn into underhand batons, right? So you can hold them like, I don't know, these are kind of like, you can do whatever you, getting them in upside down is a bit harder than I remember. There you go. So you can hold them like batons like that, or you can do whatever you want with them. They're very versatile. But yeah, they're blaster / baton / whatever, but they can combine, right? These holes right here, I think, are 3mm, and they can combine into this thing like that. And then you can come and bring his axe, which he can hold in his hand, and you put the axe in here, and then you have a large staff that you can hold multiple ways. You can hold it like that. You can hold it right there if you take this apart, right? You can also hold it using these handles if you wanted to. So you can do a lot of things with that. It's very modular. And he has a, I don't know, it could open and close. You can either have like an axe, or you can have it like this 3-pronged weapon. So it is a lot of fun. For some quick size comparisons, he's not exactly the biggest Legends class toy in the world. Here he is next to New Age Depth Charge. So you can see he's not a very tall boy. Here he is next to Core Bomb Burst. And finally, Generations Cybertronian Trooper. So he's about half the size of a deluxe class figure. I think this works pretty well for a generalized Legends class Carbot scale. I know some people don't really care much about Iron Factory scaling with other Legends class toys because they believe that Iron Factory's toy line is self-contained, which is fair. So, but I think it's a pretty good size for what it is. And here is Hasbro's Legion class Flak. So he's a little bit taller than a Core, basically Core sized, and a little bit taller than a Legion. I'm gonna get him transformed, and after that, we'll hit up our final thoughts. So, alternate mode, here he is with Bombers, Core class. As you can see, he compresses really well. And then Legion class Flak. And then, just for the sake of brevity, he comes up to, I guess, Cyclonus's, I don't know, pectoral in terms of car mode length. And then Chug Deluxe, right? Okay. Get the comparisons out of the way. Alternate mode. I have to zoom in a bit more, actually. So the alternate mode, I think, cleans up really nicely. It looks really good. It's supposed to be a Veneno. And it's really shocking that Iron Factory, who's usually known for their abstract shape that vaguely resembles vehicle, has produced this. And I mean, it looks really good. It also rolls just fine. There's complete clearance despite being a very flat to the ground car. There's not a lot of very visible seam lines, and it all comes together really well. I find the transformation to be fun and intuitive, which probably ties into the fact that, there are tooling differences between this toy and Sideswipe, which actually make a massive difference despite being very minor. He has a spoiler here. You cannot remove the spoiler. It's on ball joints. So, but I think the spoiler looks pretty good and is nice color breakup. You can tab in the guns here. How good that looks is up to you. And since you can tab in the guns, theoretically, of course, you can also store the axe. I didn't push it in all the way because I will say, for word of caution, the axe is kind of tighter than the grip of the gun batons in each other. So I would just be careful with the axe, just like wiggle it out slowly. The side mirrors, which aren't painted, but that's fine. There's this like gap right here for the hinges, which is a bit ugly. But oops, for the most part, it looks fine. Sorry about the camera issue. Underside, of course, there's a robot underneath. I haven't tried turning the head around. The instructions don't tell you to. I guess you could, but it's fine. For the most part, it's Legends class Carbot. Rolls well, looks well, proportioned well. I don't have much else to say. It holds together really well, and the transformation is fun. They've also picked out, details. These parts, though, I have an issue here where these sometimes will pop in, and you kind of have to, like, pull them. You have to, like, pull them back out. So they're completely flush. They, like, have a tendency to pop in a little bit more, but most of the time, they're pretty flush. So the details are picked out, the exhaust, headlights on both sides. Yeah, there's also a sheet of like water slides, I think, or dry rub stickers that you can put on this guy to like accessorize it a bit more, but I don't think they're very necessary. I like how this looks. It's very nice and very nice, very rollable. I guess moving on to final thoughts for this guy. Fun toy. In fact, this toy is probably going to be one of my best Legends class figures for 2024. It really is like the new future for Iron Factory. I think moving away from the whole really abstract Cybertronian alternate modes on occasion to produce like really impressive transformations like this one. Sideswipe got poor reception because Sideswipe, the shoulder kibble on Red Alert, which turns into his wheels, is also attached to the door kibble, which is on Red Alert's back. So Sideswipe has these massive armatures on a variety of ball joints that basically compromise the entirety of the sides of the car. It's a very unintuitive and non-fun, poor clearance, poor tolerance transformation choice, which Red Alert doesn't have. And I get it's for like, I guess, character sheet ethos, because, Sideswipe's G1 cartoon model was a season 1 model, so it doesn't have the shoulder kibble. But my argument is that, like, you know, Sideswipe's toy also has a shoulder kibble, like Red Alert. And if this design is so much more fun and so much more, you know, usable on the user end and is a great toy, whereas Sideswipe is a not good, not bad toy because of how shit the transformations become, why didn't you just use this engineering for both of them? It's a mind-boggling question to me, and I get you wanted them to be differentiated, but like, these toys were designed simultaneously. I feel like Iron Factory should have known that, you know, one of them was going to end up being much more user-friendly than the other, and made a decision accordingly, instead of, you know, giving us the, I don't want to say they put the burden on us, but it really is a shame, because I think Sideswipe came out and people were like, well, yet another fiddly and overcomplicated Samurai series toy, when in reality this mold is fantastic. I do hope that if they do G2 Sideswipe, they use this mold, or this tooling, because also G2 Sideswipe was a toy first. He wasn't really in a cartoon, so having the shoulder wheels would be more fitting as well. I just don't want them to use the Sideswipe tooling again, because I really think that it doesn't make sense to not use space to like spread out the kibble, because I mean, this thing has to kind of shell form. The shaping and the sculpting of the alternate mode are vastly different from the robot mode, like, you know, real world transforming cars that are in blocky space machines. So I hope that they reuse this tooling. I'm very excited for Sunstreaker. I don't know, this guy, he's just got fun modular weapons. He's got good posability. The tolerances are locked in. You know, everything moves the way it's supposed to, even with the skirt and like the backpack pieces and everything. It doesn't feel like a chore or a bore like some other samurai figures I messed with that were like more display than play. This guy feels like he's play. He feels playable. The transformation is fun. I like doing it back and forth. I like posing him. I like messing with the weapons. I mean, I don't know. It's a full recommend from me, man. I paid like $27 for this toy. I haven't really gotten this much mileage out of a $27 Transformer in a long time. I'm going to definitely keep messing with it. You know, I just keep staring at him. I love it. I love how dynamic the proportions are. I love how the articulation works for the most part. I love the alternate mode. I love the transformation. It's just an all-around good release, which I really appreciate. Especially with, like, you know, how Legends is kind of like there's two companies gunning for complete G1 accuracy on a model sheet, and then you have one company that isn't, and you have like various other side projects. So it's nice to like have a place where I can just show up and drop less than $30 on a Legends class toy and get a fun time, you know. I mean, I'm looking right now and I have to spend like, whatever, I'm not going to get into it. The point is, I hope they put out more toys like this. I'm very excited for Sunstreaker if it's more like this than Sideswipe. I hope it is, because Sunstreaker seems to distribute his kibble better as well. So, yeah, I'm very excited to see what the Samurai series does next. This is making me excited for the Sunticons, actually, so we'll see how those turn out. But yeah, I mean, this is pretty much it for me. I'm going to drop a link to where you can pick this up from Shozi's store in the description. But yeah, really appreciate everyone who shows up, watch my videos. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys. You know, if you have any questions, concerns, comments, etc., I always try to respond to the comment section. So this is totally not me asking for engagement, by the way. Yeah. Anyways, I'll catch you guys later. Have a great one. Peace out.